So let's begin our practice today just upright, feeling comfortable getting seated here in a way that is right for our bodies. And just taking a little bit of time to really find out what that feels like for you today. Perhaps there's a little bit of a jiggle or an adjustment, a shifting in your position or your posture. And just take care of that for yourself, just leaning in, maybe gently moving, and feeling an out breath as you do arrive in a place where you can become still. And as you allow your attention to just drop into your body, perhaps you sense the feeling of your eyes closing or becoming downcast. This helps us withdraw the senses from the external and just start to notice the energy that's internal today. And energy can be anything from tension or sensation or stimulation, thoughts, breath. Just take a few moments to notice in this small window of time, as you watch and as you observe, just notice what's happening on the inside. Sometimes our observation is really sharp, sometimes it's a little slower. And also the stimulus, the energy can change. So we notice what it's like in this present moment. And then I invite you to come into more of a shamatha method. This is one single point of focus. So having acknowledged what's here in the body today, we take a breath. And now just starting to follow your breathing as the air is moving in through your nose, passing down through the throat into the lungs, and feeling where it's landing in the lungs every time you breathe. So where is that general location that you feel the breath? In your chest? Just hold your attention here, just for a few moments. Allowing the breath to occur in a space where you're just noticing, not trying to change it, just simply observing it. Feeling it, sensing it, aware of it. And with a gentle change of redirection, the quality of redirection allows us to have a choice. Let's practice choosing to shift the breath to a different space in the lungs, perhaps, from what you first noticed just now. Let's start to feel the breath down into the bottoms of the ribs, the bottoms of the lungs. Notice, can you redirect physically, intentionally, your breathing just to drop a little lower? Invite this to happen. Let it be an offering rather than a mandate. And just sense, even if it changes just slightly, to go deeper. That's all that's needed today. Let your attention rest here just for another couple of breaths. And in the practice of choosing, we redirect our attention again to the side ribs, right around the armpits, so just a little lower. And let's sense if we can, in fact, invite the breath to move out both sides of the lungs, affecting the side ribs. Can you feel or sense the change of your physical body as the energy internally makes itself known? Side ribs expanding and gently retracting. And again, we just sit with our attention for a couple of quiet moments with this. And if attention strays, just gently coming back as soon as you notice. Resting in the side ribs, the sides of the lungs. And then imagine you could fill your whole lung cavity from top to bottom, from side to side, from front to back. And with that as an invitation here now, see whether that's possible for you to experience this kind of feeling, this imagined or practiced knowing of breathing into the lungs this way. So just notice if you can, just see if you can try that on. You might feel the ribs lift. You might feel that it's a little more active in the way you're breathing. You might feel the diaphragm just below the ribs, gently helping the air come in and gently exiting the energy, the air out. Just try that one more time, a full lung-loving breath. Exhale. And allowing your breathing just to resume to its natural state. It's a quieter sense in the chest and the lungs not moving as much. Let's bring our hands together and rub the palms so there's that physical contact, the feeling of redirecting our attention once again, this time to the palms of the hands. And with the warmth that's gathering as we rub our palms together, let's lift that energy and take the palms up, lifted over our eyes. A few moments of introspection, of a quiet, still space. When you're ready, the process of gently opening your eyes slowly and allowing your hands to come down away from the face. Staying upright now as we just start to shift into the smaller joints of the neck. Let's take some teasing neck stretches. We're going to tip our head over to one side, doesn't matter which side, ear towards the shoulder. And feeling the opposite shoulder just hanging a little deeper into the socket, letting go of that shoulder away from the ear. And just keeping the neck at its range so there's a nice long lengthened feeling of stretching. And bringing the head back up to center, let's gently take the other side. Just opening up that pathway between the ear and the shoulder tip. Just taking a breath, letting the shoulder hang low, the socket soften. And then lifting the head back up to center here. Let's take the chin down to the chest, only to a place that feels comfortable for you. And then moving your chin around to the right side, just let the ear come towards the shoulder again. Semicircle with the chin back to the chest. And then left ear to left shoulder, just gently creating a smile with the crown of the head. Let's do this twice more. So work through your own little semicircle movement from side to side, coming back through the center so you feel the back of the neck getting a stretch. And we've got one more to go. The neck is a really vulnerable place, and often if there's any degeneration or old injury, we can feel it through inflamed qualities or pain. Gently hands to the forehead, the chin is down to the chest. Lift your head up away from your body, from the chest, and then hands behind your head. Lift up your neck, lift up your head, lift up your chin. Look up a little. Your head is being cradled by your hands. Good. And then gently bring your head back to the center. Release your hands away from the back. Combine this now with some shoulder rolls. We've got the blood flow happening into the neck, up into the skull. So let's start to work through these shoulders. Often just really unconsciously using our arms in the everyday. Now arms connected into the body, into the shoulders, into the back, into the neck. So all of these areas can feel really good when we start to move the shoulders, or maybe they feel like they really are long overdue for this. Let's go the other way. Slow it down. Get into those little crunchy spots. Yeah, lift the shoulder blades. Feel the upper arm bone and the elbows contributing to the way you're moving. The head of the humerus bone in the shoulder itself. One more time around. Oh, good. Now let's just gently sit tall and then the shoulders drop away from ears. Turn your head slowly from side to side. And as you do, and go slow, notice if one side you have more ability to turn, more range. And that's okay, that's quite natural. But just do it a few more times and see whether you can gently find an edge and pause at the edge. Hold at your end range of motion before you release. And then one more time from each side. And bringing your head and neck back to center. All right, let's just take our fingertips behind the back of the skull and where those two little bony points, the occipitals are, get underneath your hair there and just create a slow circular massage using the points of the forefingers, or maybe you want to use the thumbs. See if you can circle around, and maybe you even just create little circles. Maybe you move in ways that aren't circular. Perhaps it's just rubbing across the occipitals from left to right or up and down. But massage these two bony points just for the last 5. You might massage the adjoining areas of the neck to the occipitals too. That releases tension. Last deep breath. Let's move through that with our touch. And then release the hands away from the head. Okay, I invite you to find your mat and lay your body down to start the practice. A nice way to enter our practice today. As you slowly come down onto the ground and stretch out your limbs. And noticing the work we've just done with the back of the head, the neck, the sensations that might be showing up here. As you feel your blood flow and your circulation and the way it feels here in your body. And give yourself just a few moments to settle and to let everything come back to a beautiful balance and equilibrium. Blood pressure, heart rate, energy flow. Maybe you take a deeper out breath. And then using your senses to feel down into your feet. See whether you can start to just gently shake the feet so the heels stay connected on the ground. And you're just gently moving the leg bones to let the feet just softly wobble from side to side. Feeling the feet themselves as the movement is happening. And then bringing the movement to stillness and gently working with a point flex through the feet, just starting to attract some blood flow down to the lower legs. Let's point flex. Let's include an ankle rotation as well. So moving between point flex and then in both directions, in opposite directions, honor that rotation of the ankles. And then include the smaller joints of the toes. So start to crunch, curl the toes, combining point flex, rotation, crunch, curl the toes, attracting the blood flow to the lower legs. And then just totally relax your legs. Just feeling connected through your body, grounded. Can you drop your body's weight? Breathing out. And relax as much as possible as we begin our first yin pose here with Eye of the Needle today. So walking the feet in, grounding both feet flat, and then lifting the right ankle over the left knee. And if this is already quite a lot for the hips, we can just stay here with the left foot grounded and the hips centered, square and supported on the mat. And if SIJ issues are currently problematic for you, this is perhaps where I would offer you to stay with the hips grounded, with the left foot grounded. Otherwise, the option is to lift the left foot, hands bind, and draw in the left thigh towards you as you lay back. Let's find an edge. Let's gently settle into the pose. And let's begin a really slow, soft feeling entering into our practice, a feeling we can be aware of, like we are giving way to gravity. And gently, softly, in a supported way, we can start to really feel our bodies releasing from having to hold on, from having to hold us up. Inviting your body to come into a sense of resting and relaxing. And that resting and relaxing is here for you to feel it in a physical way. Physical way, your body just giving way, the feeling of muscular tension starting to ease. Gentle feeling of stretch sensation, but just something that's really sustainable for you. As we direct our attention to feeling it in the body, we follow those feelings of heaviness, of letting go. We get to watch the mind and what happens on the inside as we start to relax. This is an observation of energy, the phenomena of energy. Not needing to make any more out of it. Thoughts may come, thoughts will go. Tensions can arise as part of this within the body and the mind. For these last 2 minutes, let's just watch. Last minute here, everyone. And as we take the last 3 breaths, that view, can that observation just stay consistent? Just watching. Just noticing. And taking your body through a slow transition as you gently exit from the shape. We were externally rotating the femur, the thigh bone. And so it might do to take a slightly different alternate action with the thigh bone as a way of you now just really bringing yourself back to neutral. Post pose, taking any movements you might need, or just simply rest. And as you adjust your body and find yourself coming through this transition, we are moving to the next destination, coming into an eye of the needle on the other side when you feel you are ready. And again, the process of the feet being flat, crossing the left ankle over the right knee, keeping the sacrum or the hips flat and perhaps just staying there. Or moving into a bind with the hands. Your choice as you find your own personal edge. and letting the process begin. The unfolding of the body and the way that it operates, the working through, the letting down and the letting go of the energies we normally hold or navigate in our day to day. As we bring everything to stillness, and as we start to feel that soft sense of gravity taking us towards the earth. And feel gravity's micro effects, the more subtle effects, where the spaces between the toes relax, where your inner mouth softens, where the inner tissues sitting around your face, your sinuses, gently start to soften and drop. As the body starts to relax, notice what is occurring with your inner energy. Just like the processes we see in nature, like a flower starting to bloom, or maybe a weather change coming in. There's all of the subtleties that we might not see, but if we're in our body, we might just get to feel it if we bring our attention, our awareness, just bring your attention and your awareness to the inner unfolding. You might feel a breath that naturally deepens. You might notice a part of your body just suddenly drop, not even aware that you were holding there. Can we allow this beautiful settling within and watching and observing as our inner energy is changing? Last 2 minutes. Just staying with your attention within. And as we take the last minute, if it helps you really anchor in, allow your awareness to sit in one place for a few moments, like we did with the breath in the lungs at the beginning of our session. This is us executing choice and practicing a redirection. Can you direct your attention to a single place within the body or within your energy? Just stay with it for the last 30 seconds here. Last 3 breaths. Taking your time, let your body lead the way. As we find the exit, the pose comes to conclusion. Let's feel our way through, knowing that we had an external rotation on the leg. So we might feel we need to just gently move it in other planes of motion. A windscreen wiping action will see to this as a way of resolving the external rotation. And you might just feel in and check in with what your body needs. When you're ready, we're going to gently roll to one side. And rolling off to the side, just take your time to move slowly and with intention. We're going to slowly come up to a seated position and move into hands and knees, just when you feel ready. Onto your hands and knees, patting the knees if you need, making sure the wrists are supported underneath the shoulders. Spread out your hands. And keeping the knees separate hip width, I invite you to take some movement through the spinal joints. Moving in your own way, perhaps it's cat and cow today. Moving through that undulating forwards and then back, rounding motion. But slowing it right down, allow your body to start to dictate how you need to move. So it might be that you move from cat and cow into other expressions. Maybe it's sending the hips back in a circle, or taking your body on a little bit of a movement journey. But really feel into your back and the bones of your back. And including your neck and your tailbone, work with this verticality of your spine. And notice in all of the ways how you can access movement energy along the spinal column. And we'll give it another 30 seconds just to really get into all of those little grooves and niches of the vertebral column, the spine. You'll feel this, of course, through the ribs, through the shoulders, through the pelvis, right up into the neck, the head. Taking our last deep breath. Exhale to empty. From hands and knees now, let's take our left foot forwards into a low lunge. Sorry. Option to stay in low lunge or open up into a dragon pose. And this is where the foot turns sideways a little. We can just stay with one foot in front and take a shorter stance if it's too much for the pelvis. Or we can slide the rear knee back and take the foot gently sideways and the knee hinges wide. Now, if all else fails and this does not feel good for the hips, come onto your back and just draw your single left knee to chest. And we're just here for a short time, about 3 minutes. As again, we are encouraged and invited to come to an edge. And then to enter in to a relaxation response. Leaning in and yielding to the body's heaviness. The subtle unfurling as you watch, as you witness. The energy from the inside, just notice. You are awareness. You might lean into the prop, you might gently prop the back thigh, or lean onto the elbows on a block or a cushion. Last minute and a half here as you softly notice the body's responses changing. Last minute here. Remember, the anchoring can be you just bringing your attention to one place. Redirecting every time the energy bubbles up inside. And coming back to one place with your attention. Last 3 final rounds of breath. And as you start to gently back yourself out, you can come out completely, that's fine. But we are going to take a little addition to this pose. So when you're ready, we're going to sit back into the hips. We're going to outstretch the left leg in front. And the right knee is bent. I don't know if you can see me, I'm trying to adjust my light here. The right knee is bent and the left leg is out in front. Yeah. And then there's a little bend of the left knee. You're sitting upright. That's it. And we're starting to gently lean forwards over the left thigh. Hamstring, back body stretch. But please keep the hips really steady and square, especially if there is that little bit of an inflammation around the SIJ, lower spine. And remember, your edge is navigated by you, for you, through you. So the edge that we meet at for each and every one of us is different. The edge for you needs to be sustainable. Somewhere you can become still, somewhere you can settle and stay. And then this systematic journey, this slow, soft approach, internalizing our attention and letting the physicality, the pose, the way we're positioned, body going with gravity, letting all of that take effect. Can you allow yourself to be in effect? The invitation for gravity to take you, for the softness to find you. For the levels and layers of relaxation to become available to you. Letting the subtle places start to soften. Where do you feel this internal change? And we'll stay for 1 more minute. Feeling if you need to really anchor in. And dropping your attention within to one place. Last and final 3 rounds of breath. That's the way. Slowly rising up from the depths and coming back up to resurface from the pose. And that felt sense of noticing what your body's asking for as you transition here. And we often move from the muscles or the joints, the bones. What if we were to move from our circulation or our inner fluids? We might feel something differently. We might start to orchestrate more relationship internally with release and ease. It would probably look different and feel different to us to move from the inner body's fluids rather than the inner dense structures. See how that feels for you. And then we take lunge on the other leg. I'm just going to reorient my direction so you can see me. We're going to take the right leg forwards from hands and knees, everyone. And then we step the foot. We find that low lunge position, working with either the shorter stance if you'd like to keep the hips in stability. Option to work with the foot wider, toes turning out to the side. Option to just lean into the hands and keep the knee facing straight in front. And always the props are there for you to navigate. You might lean into a prop through the back thigh, a block underneath the hands or the forearms. Low lunge, moving into a dragon kind of pose here, your variation. For about 3 minutes here, let's find our edge. Meeting there at our edge. Let's breathe out. The process of breathing out begins a beautiful domino effect within the body. That longer out breath linking us up with our parasympathetic nervous system. And now we can move through those beautiful subtle layers. Energy releasing, unwinding, unbinding, letting go. If this gets too much, remember you can always lay back, knee to chest. The process is yours. We are all and each in our own process here. Softness of the thigh moving in to the socket, the bone into the socket. Your inner mouth and jaw letting go. Softness around your mouth and your eyes. What about your scalp? Last minute and a half here now. You might be anchoring in. Last minute. The unfolding, it keeps giving. There's a journey in this. It is always available. It is always happening here. If we just notice, if we observe it, as we breathe to it, and take your last final 3 rounds of breath here now. And then moving as you need and taking care of what you need. Before we move into that hamstring stretch on the right side. So you might come out completely. You might simply just take the weight into the left knee, sit back, outstretch the right thigh, and bending the right knee, slowly start to lean your torso forwards. And getting that forward fold through the back, in through the back of your leg, and a gentle compression through the organs of digestion at the front. Let's come into the forward fold. That's it. And the body leads the way in this Yin Yoga practice. And over time, the consequences of the body's reaction influencing the inner energies. We notice them swirling and transforming and changing. And yet this gravity-fed way of working with our bodies, of breathing deep, of responding through relaxation, invites our whole being, our whole system to soften and to let go today. We have 2 minutes left. Anchoring into the moment even more deeply as we delve into that space of just witnessing the one place, the one energy perhaps, tapping in and deepening our experience for this last 60 seconds here. Last 3 breaths. Oh. And as you slowly exit, and all the signs and signals are passing through your system, just enjoy that feeling of release and explore what it means in your body, in your system. Maybe we just lay down. I will say though, along the way now, as you're moving or resting, that the next pose we'll come to is on our bellies, and Sphinx is its name. We come into a back bend when you're ready, offering all of the supports that you might need. A soft blanket under, maybe even over the body. Bolster cushion, maybe underneath the chest. Let's set up so we are comfortable enough that we can stay. Guiding our body into the shape of a back bend. where we meet at our first edge of sensation. Making sure it's sustainable for you here, right where you have landed. And if not, just simply choose, redirect, and make the adjustments. Sometimes the thighs widening helps the pelvis and allows your back body to deepen or find more of a stimulation that is right for you, more of an edge that is right for you. So sometimes that little parting of the thighs, that moving of the legs away from the midline, just allows you to rest more comfortably into the lower back, into the hips. With all of the little nuances of our bodies, we make sure we take care of ourselves today. You can rest your head in your hands. Feel free to use a cushion and get comfortable in a way that feels right for you. And then just start to become really quiet. Really quiet so that you can notice what's happening in your body. Is there any little sensations? Do you notice energy shifting? Thoughts, words, images, stories. And as we honor what's here without trying to change it, we're also aware of our ability to choose, for choice. And so if the movement of energy inside is destabilizing or feels too much, simply redirect your awareness to one place and wait. Noticing and staying in one place. Using this as your anchor. And feel the unfolding, the breath changing. Your body inside softening and heavying with gravity's force. As the body is slowly leading us through this experience, you notice the shift. And we give permission for our whole experience to embrace this shift into relaxation. Where are you holding back? Last minute and a half here now. Last minute here. Can we be still? Can we stay? Last and final 3 breaths, everyone. Take your time. And really slowly now, when you're ready, let's start to come out of the shape. Take care of yourself. The back bend might need a few moments of stillness or movement or both. The back bend and coming out might need a few breaths. And know that as you're transitioning, we are moving towards a Shavasana now. So this is the time that we really need to make sure we look after and we really honor. Our bodies have been changed because of the practice. Our tissues have been gently remodeled and lots of different inner processes are happening. So it's so important now that we rest. Let's bring our bodies into a place where we can rest. Make yourself really comfortable. You might build a little nest. You might just feel comfortable laying down where you are. And it's just for a few quiet moments to allow the infusion of circulation and inner energy flow to be enhanced as the whole body finds neutrality and a comfortable place here now to rest. I'm going to start to count down from 10, and with every number that I descend from 10, I'm going to start to slowly bring your awakening in. Number 10, 9, 8, 7, just starting to feel a little more awake. 6, feel free to move. 5, 4, deeper breathing now. 3, maybe a stretch. 2, 1. Coming back with awareness into the room. And slowly, with your own pace, your own way today, let's gently roll to one side and slowly arise when you feel ready to seated. We'll conclude the practice today by lifting hands to prayer, by raising the thumbs, gently touching in with both thumbs at the third eye, and then drawing down from here into the heart as together we bow forwards. Namaste.